What's up, guys? Today I'm going to give you a quick little editing breakdown of how we did the January short film, and just kind of let you in on a little bit of the behind the scenes of what all went into it. Some things we could have done better probably, but at least you'll know how we did it. So jumping into DaVinci here. By the way, if you're not using DaVinci Resolve, what are you doing? So we're in here. Basically I have 5 audio tracks. I keep the clip audio in some of them because some of the ambient sound was good. And then I have this sound effects 2, and then I have music, and then the ambient sound of like the campfire. So going into this, the first couple shots are like not really anything special. Now all you colorists are gonna kill me. Obviously I did this all on one node. We actually got this edited in like 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. So again, there's not a ton of color that went into this. We are going to experiment with like deeper color. What was really one fun thing for me about this edit in particular is I come from a background where I'm editing mostly like corporate stuff and very clean edits, and this was kind of fun to like cut together and make it kind of grimy and like speed things up and like do that sort of thing. So the first real thing we did, other than like just boosting the contrast, converting it from S-Log, was the shot of our actor's eyes here after he drinks this potion, kind of illuminating red. And literally all I did was went in, created 2 masks around his eyes, tracked them, boost the red, and then duplicated that to just the point where I needed it to happen. And I faded it in and faded it out. Really simple, like super easy. There's probably a better way to do it to make it look a little more like fantasy or sci-fi. Sorry. That's the way we did it, and to be honest, it worked out fine. And going through here, the next big thing obviously is this fireball. This fireball, I wasn't super like duper happy with it, but I have like no experience with visual effects, so this is like one of my first things that I've done. It doesn't really match the color when it comes out, but you know, it worked for I think the purpose of what we were doing. It looks very amateur, but you know, I'm kind of amateur at this, so it makes sense. Let me know in the comments if there's any helpful suggestions you guys have for like visual effects, especially when it comes to like adding these elements, like 3D elements, and actually making them look like they're interacting with the environment. I added like a glow, so it kind of like casts light off what it's passing, but I'm sure there's more things that we could do to make that look a little bit better. Again, the interesting thing about this is it had to be cut so quick, because there are like a lot of moments where like obviously we're not using real swords, right? So we don't want you to look at these for too long. So most of these clips are sped up significantly. I got all the songs and I got all the music and all that sound effects from Artlist. We're not sponsored yet, but Artlist, if you're interested, we are very interested. Yeah, everything is cut super fast, and most of the time, like towards the, so like this clip is very sped up, but towards the end, I like to like speed things up a little bit. So like with this punch, right here, I speed it up to like 200%. So it's like really gives that type of impact. And I actually turned up the punch sound a lot, so you can like, hold on, let me solo this. Like it's a nice solid. Hold on, let me actually. So adding whooshes before everything too is like really fun, and it gets it that extra, like it's just so good. Anyway, so and like you'll see, I added like. Basically this whole track is just whooshes. And as the fight goes on, like again, this is sped up because, and unfortunately the way I shot it, because I shot this one as well, it's just like stuff like that happens, and we're just trying to cover it up as much as possible. And like obviously with like close-ups, like these are not metal, but and there again, it's like a huge speed up. It's the last part. We were deciding whether we should add like a blood trail, and we just decided it probably not. In the future we may mess around with that, but it's not because like we didn't want to be gory. It's just the angle on which this was filmed, like, and how the sword kind of like catches him. Like it would be cool to maybe have the blood splat go this way, like up and to the left of the screen, but again, we kind of threw this together rather quickly. There wasn't a lot of pre-production to this. So. And then this idea actually came out of nowhere, which tends to be a trend you'll hear in a lot of the editing breakdowns, especially for next month. That like these ideas come out of nowhere, but they ended up making it a more entertaining part of the film. We went inside and we were like, what if it was like he was playing a game the whole time? And so I literally just grabbed a shot of the TV, and I won't go into like exactly like all the depth of this, but basically I just masked out the part of the TV, I tracked it, and then put this compound clip, which is just a clip with this "you died" over it of him laying there dead, and then put it under the clip of the TV that had the hole in it and sized it, and then we just had the actor like just throw the controller. And one other thing I want to mention is every single clip has noise reduction. We filmed on the A7 III. Doesn't have a ton of dynamic range. There was a lot of grain. We had to bump the ISO a ton. But I kind of like the bit of grain that it gave because it kind of fits the style. But yeah, so that's basically the breakdown. Next month is going to be a little bit probably more complicated because we went into a lot more with next month's. But with that being said, if you have any questions, comments, anything that you're like, wow, you did that terrible, or anything you want me to go more in depth in, let me know. Leave a comment. And until next time, see you guys later.